rules. Please be advised that any behavior that disturbs the flow of the meeting will result in removal from meeting room without any reason or warning. Please ensure that your noise making devices are either switched off or on silent mode. Please speak responsibly on religion, sex, and politics in your speeches. As far as possible, please keep your videos on, audio off, and applause flowing throughout. Be the kind of audience for others you would like to have for yourself. Toastmaster of the day, table topic master, and journal evaluator, please ensure a smart audio video check before handing over to each speaker. Role players, please rename yourself as role players, which is your role, your name, and your club name. Please acquaint yourself with the role of the timer. The timer will use the timing cards. Can timer please come up and share what are they going to use? Share the screen.
Uh, Please enable sharing screen. Host.
Sharing screen is enabled.
For me as well.
Sharing screen is enabled for everyone.
Okay, I'm going to share cards.
Cool.
Okay, great. Fine. We encourage you to use the Zoom emoticons generally to encourage role players. We sincerely request you not to send chat messages to everyone and definitely not to the speaker or stage. In fact, refrain from chatting altogether and focus on the speaker on stage. Reiterating, please stay on mute until specifically requested to unmute. Polls will be launched after each section and they will be closed after 30 seconds. Now I would like to introduce the presiding officer and to take over. Our presiding officer is Kapil Kakkar.
Thank you, Ruchita. A very happy new year and very good morning to all the members and the guests in our meeting 518. All right, so before I follow our ritual of introducing our guests, just wanted to make a couple of announcements that on 10th of January this week, we are going to have a evaluation contest, and I request all the Bluecast members to nominate themselves for that particular contest, including Sheila, you, and Elisa. And on 24th of January, again Sunday, we are having speech contest, again requesting the same, that all the Bluecast member should nominate themselves for that particular contest. Now, let me now call upon some guests today so that they can introduce themselves and let us know what brought them here in this meeting. So I see Arvind, he's, I guess, first timer in Bluecast meeting. Arvind, good morning. Over to you.
Good morning and thank you. I have been to your meeting earlier. I am a visiting Toastmaster, a past district director of District 98, and a Toastmaster since 12 and a half years. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Welcome, Arvind. Gayatri, do you want to state a few words?
I'm going to speak a lot today, considering that I'm the Toastmaster of the day. So yeah. I will refrain from saying anything right now.
Sure. And I don't think that we have many guests today. And probably this is the first week of the
we have
New
Elisa,
year.
we have Elisa, we have Haritika.
Okay. So you still consider them guests? Okay. Haritika, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Haritika from Turning Point Toastmasters. I love coming to Bluecast on Wednesdays morning to start the day. And today also I'm looking forward to have a wonderful meeting with Teamwork Gayatri. So thank you and over to you.
Thank you, Haritika. Elisa?
Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a great time. I am visiting from Puerto Rico, and technically I shouldn't be a guest anymore, but I got sick and haven't gone through the procedure. So hopefully by next week, I will be a member. And you can stop introducing me every time. But it's been great. I've loved visiting, and I look forward to great times with all of you. Thank you. Back to you, Kapil.
Thank you, Elisa. Now, it's time to start the meeting, and before I start the meeting, I would like to hand over the stage to our Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day is someone who is very versatile. She is qualified, she advocate, English trainer by profession. She's a keen observer and a very spiritual soul. I have a lot of Marathi friends, but I have not seen a person like her who speaks so correct Hindi as well as Sanskrit. So it's my pleasure to invite Toastmaster of the day, Gayatri. Gayatri, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kapil. And I assure you all, I did not pay a single rupee to Kapil to say all those things about me. On that note, you must have realized there was something humorous in the statement I made. And that is exactly what is going to come in the meeting ahead. We are going to talk about limericks. Limericks are basically a 5 lines poem, a 5 lines poetry with first 2 lines rhyming with each other, following 2 lines rhyming with each other, and the last line, the 5th line, rhymes with the first and the second lines. Suddenly, limericks have come into fashion once again. How did that happen? Originally, the first limerick was supposedly written somewhere around in the year 1700. In the late 19th century, the trend of limericks picked up like anything, and everybody was talking in limericks. There was this 19th century poet, Edward Lear, who wrote some of the very early and some of the most popular limericks. I will give you an example of that. This one is written by Edward Lear. Now he talks about an old man. If you see his photograph, you might as well wonder, was he talking about himself? This is how the limerick goes. There was an old man with a beard who said, "It is just as I feared. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nest in my beard." You noticed over there, the first 2 lines rhymed with each other. The third and fourth lines rhymed with each other. And the 5th line, once again, rhymed with the first 2 lines. These limericks are mostly a description of a certain person or a certain situation. Going forward, I'm going to be using a lot of limericks today. But then again, coming back to the question, why are we talking about limericks suddenly? What is it that has made limericks so popular again? I'm sure we are all aware about this web series, The Crown. In this web series, The Crown, the King George, Princess Margaret, they are all seen enjoying limericks. In fact, they are also seen having a limericks contest. And today, along with the meeting, we are also going to have a limericks contest. I would like all the members to nominate themselves and present 1 limerick. Take the inspiration, and we shall listen to these limericks made by the contestants. And by the end of the meeting, we shall have the polls as to whose limericks were the best. On that note, I would like to start our meeting today. Every Toastmasters meeting is divided into 3 sections. First section is that of prepared speeches, where all our speakers will come prepared and they will deliver their speeches in 5 to 7 minutes. Our second section would be table topics. In table topics, it doesn't matter whether you are prepared or you are not prepared. You are going to get a topic and you are going to speak. And third section, the pillar of any Toastmasters meeting, evaluation sections, wherein we will have the prepared speakers evaluated, we will have the table topic speakers evaluated, we will have the role players evaluated, and we will also have all the auxiliary role players evaluated. Stay tuned, because I would first like to invite our general evaluator for the day, who will tell us about his role. There is one fine young man, Kapil Kakkar. With each passing day, he aims to become better. Dedication is his virtue. People like him are very few. Presidentship at Blue Quest has made him tougher. Over to our general evaluator for the day, Mr. Kapil Kakkar.
Thank you, Gayatri. You reciprocated it very well. Okay. So, hi, good morning, everyone again. My name is Kapil Kakkar and I'm playing the role of GE. As a general evaluator, my role is to evaluate the meeting and evaluate certain role players. I will be presenting my report at the end of the, or rather in the third section of the meeting, that is evaluation section. And to perform me this particular role, I have a team of 3 role players who will support me in this role. Let me first invite timer of the day, which is, or rather, who is Haritika today? Haritika, could you please tell us about your role?
Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, I am the timer of the day. I am responsible to keep a track of the time taken by various speakers and role players. Typically, a prepared speech is timed for 5 to 7 minutes. I'll show the green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. There's a grace period of 30 seconds on either side. I request speech evaluators to reprise me if speech time is different from 5 to 7 minutes. For table topics, each speaker is required to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. I'll show the green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. The red card will be up till the speaker stops speaking. There's a grace period of 30 seconds on the upper side. Speech evaluators are allotted 2 to 3 minutes for evaluation. The green card will be shown at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red card at 3 minutes. There's a grace period of 30 seconds on the either side. Please note that as a timer, I'll keep the cards up until the speaker stops speaking, unless otherwise stated by Toastmaster of the day or general evaluator. I'll provide no signal, verbal or non-verbal, to indicate that your time is up. Any speaker who finishes before or after the grace period will not be considered. I'll submit my report in the evaluation section when called by the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritika. Now it's time to call upon. Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay,
Kapil.
okay.
Go ahead.
So now it's time to call upon our counter of the day. Sheila, over to you to explain your role.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Tonight, we will be counting the ahs and ums and you knows and likes. My role tonight is the ah counter. Greetings, Mr. Madam, or greetings, Mr. Who's the Toastmaster? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster and guests. The purpose of the ah counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for words and count what may be inappropriate expressions such as well, so, you know, or other words such as or if you use a double crutch such as I, or some other similar phrase like that. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times that each speaker uses these expressions, and back to you.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. Now it's time to call upon our grammarian of the day, who is Rolly. Rolly, would you please explain your role and word of the day?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. As the grammarian, I shall be noting all the good usages of the language, any awkward usages of the language, and the count of the word of the day. Today, in line with the theme of the meeting, I have chosen the word of the day as cadence. The word cadence means a rhythm or a measure, the beat with which you are trying to speak or you're trying to orate. The word cadence is spelled as C-A-D-E-N-C-E. An example is that there was a cadence or a sort of chant in her delivery, but with the most perfect quietness of manner. Every cadence and vibration of that voice was for him enchantment. I shall be posting the word of the day very shortly in the chat window. I hope that each one of you, whoever takes the stage, will be using the word of the day, and the rest of the audience will award that person with a thumbs up when the word of the day is used. I shall be back with my report when the general evaluator calls me in the evaluation segment. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rolly, and thank you all the role players for explaining your role. Now, I would like to hand over the stage back to Gayatri to start the meeting further. Gayatri, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kapil. I would now like to call upon the first evaluator for the first speaker, Payal Agrawal, to read out the objectives for the first speaker. Over to you, Payal. Payal, you are on mute.
Is that okay now?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm here to evaluate Sumit on his speech today. Sumit will be presenting his speech from the path Dynamic Leadership from level 1, and the project is Research and Presenting. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech. The title of his speech is Meditation and its Side Effects, and the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Payal. On that note, I would like to now invite a man who loves to talk about finances. His name is Sumit, and he likes to take his chances. Today, he will talk about meditation. He vouches for it without hesitation. Stock market is the place where he makes his advances. Coming on stage, Sumit Juneja, Meditation and its Side Effects. Meditation and its Side Effects, Sumit Juneja. Over to you, Sumit.
After practicing heartfulness for more than 4 years, I am convinced with my personal experience that meditation has many side effects, and all of them are positive. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I want you to study after practicing for 4 years that is it my experience only that is telling me this, or is it something that can be scientifically proven? I will present to you a basic about this meditation and then a research conducted by Heartfulness Institute. Heartfulness practice is based on 3 pillars. One of them is meditation in the early morning, cleaning in the evening, and then a prayer at night. And these 3 practices, how effective they are, will be coming up in the research that is conducted by Heartfulness Institute. Dr. Rahul Malhotra from Non-Invasive Cardiology at Max Saket has conducted a recent study in association with IIT Delhi. There were 30 participants in this research, and they were invited from near capital region, mostly from Delhi, Gurgaon, and Noida. And during this study, there were 3 sessions. In the first 30 minutes, their BP recordings were taken and their ECG recordings were taken with the help of a Holter monitor. And then they were given a sitting in terms of a cleaning sitting. This is the practice that we follow in the evening. And then again, these recordings were taken. And then again, they were given a one-to-one meditation sitting by a trained preceptor, who is a trainer in this field. And then again, these readings were taken. And these 3 statistics then compared side by side to figure out the effectiveness of this heartfulness meditation. Then what we figured out from this research, on 3 important aspect that we figured out some research. These aspects were heart rate variability, heart rate, and blood pressure. It came out that heart rate variability came down significantly after both the cleaning session as well as the meditation session. And the impact was so much significant that the p-value, which is a statistically level of significance value, those who know about statistics will appreciate it, was less than 0.01, which states that all of these research conducted resulted in an outcome which cannot be denied. What happened was the heart rate variability came down, which signifies that our parasympathetic nervous system got activated after both cleaning and meditation, which is a right state of mind to be in most of the time. Our parasympathetic nervous systems help us think better, imagine better, communicate better, and assimilate things better. It helps us in learning. This is the common system that every individual should be in for most of the time. And there is a sympathetic nervous system also, which we feel that youngsters these days are mostly in. And because of tension, because of the pressure that they have, mostly they are in a fear, fight, or flight mode, where their sympathetic nervous system is active most of the time. And this leads to many problems like blood pressure and heart attacks. So second thing happened with heart rate. The heart rate also came down very significantly, and that's also statistically very significant. What happened with blood pressure is blood pressure came down by as much as any available medicine, average dose of it could bring about. The similar level of blood pressure reduction happened with this meditation sitting. So this states that there are benefits for health when we are in the meditative mode, when we are in our parasympathetic nervous systems are mostly active, and where sympathetic nervous system is not so active. It should get activated only when there is a problem that we are facing in our life, and not always. So with these three studies, it came out that yes, there is a lot of benefits of meditation, and long-term benefits could be much more. And then there were also some studies taken from perspective of psychometric test, where it came out. Some of the tests were Cantrell-Ladder scale test, happiness test of positive and negative emotion, and flourishing scale of well-being being conducted. And after these three tests, all the participants out of 20 out of 30 participants said that yes, they have felt enhanced level of well-being after these two sittings. Much like your hitting a gym can help us have a lot of health benefit. Same is the case with meditation, and we can get a lot of extra side effects, extra positive side effects with the help of meditation. And given that all these are now scientifically proven with the geography that we live in, and and it's applied to people nearby, and all of the participants I know, I think I would like to say to all of you that why not start practicing meditation, make it your part of your life in this new year. And if you do that, it would become a happy new year. Over to you, Gayatri.
Thank you so much, Sumit, for that illuminating speech. And I just want to check if Raj Mehta has arrived. Okay, Raj Mehta is here. So before we invite our next speaker, I would like to invite the second evaluator to read out the objectives for our second speaker. I would like to invite Joyita Bhattacharya. Joyita, over to you.
Thank you so much, Gayatri. Thank you, everyone. So our next speaker, whose speech is on Develop Your Vision. This is his first speech of this module. The purpose of this speech is, the purpose of this project is for member to develop a detailed vision for his or her personal life, professional life, or an organization. The purpose of this first speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her vision. Timer, please note down the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. And now, there is a Raj Mehta who is a man of action. He has only 1 minute to reach perfection. He overcomes all the hurdles. He never succumbs to troubles. He comes to Blue Quest Club for exhilaration. Over to you, our first speaker, Raj Mehta, with his speech, Setting Up a Networking Incubator. Setting up a networking incubator, Raj Mehta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Gayatri. Let me first check whether I'm audible and visible.
Yes,
Thank
sir, you are audible and visible.
Thank you. Good morning, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My vision is to set up an incubator which will network all the incubators in the world so that various stakeholders like incubators, their affiliates, their mentors, financial institutions, funding agencies, job seekers, job providers, state and national governments, and society in general get maximum benefit of the concept called incubation. Before I dwell on the process of developing my vision, it's pertinent to give some background information about my vision. Incubator. What is an incubator? Anybody would like to say something?
It is a place where you grow something or facilitate the growth of something which is not growing probably at a natural pace.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupinder. When I heard this word, incubator, for the first time, I was in class 12. At that time, I understood that an incubator was an enclosure wherein some fixed temperature and other atmospheric conditions are maintained such that a newborn baby would survive to live a full life. But in the year 1999, my managing director, Dr. A.K. Sengupta, who had visited many universities in USA, and after coming back to India, he conceptualized the new facility called incubator. He had seen in the many universities in the USA that they were setting up incubators with the idea that people who have new ideas would be working on them and would be coming up with new products and many other things. So what happened in the process that we set up a incubator in our IIT Delhi. So it is a facility which is generally established under the aegis of an academic institution. In IIT Delhi, it is a specific incubator which is known as Technology Business Incubator, or TI, wherein the ideas of creating new innovative product or process or services are nurtured by offering techno, legal, managerial, financial, and commercial assistance, and mentoring by some subject matter experts then who are drawn from within the institute and sometimes from outside the institute. When we say outside, it means industry. Incubators have a long way since then, because ours was the first incubator in this country. And there have been so many developments that many other institutions have already started incubators at their premises. Not only have they grown into types, but they have also gone into affiliates. For example, there are incubators which are opened in academic institutions, but nowadays even companies and some industry-specific incubators are also coming up in this world. Now there are incubators which are based on technology, which are based on product or process or service or management or even business-based incubators. There are incubators which are having different kind of incubation. Like the two types of incubation are physical incubation and virtual incubation. In physical incubation, a startup company or a budding entrepreneur or a team of intellectuals would come together and act or do some R&D while residing at the incubator. But in the virtual incubation, all the activities are done at their own premises, but they would be taking the help of the labs and other R&D facilities of the institute. So who can start and who is an incubator, or what for the incubators are built? These are built for the people who want to convert their ideas into a physical or product or service. So these people who are known as incubatee can be a one person, can be a team of persons, can be one person company which is known as OPC, can be a partnership firm, can be a limited liability partnership firm, that is LLP, can be a private limited company, or even can be a proprietary concern. So any person or any team of people who have the idea can come to the incubator and start R&D for converting their ideas into a product. My vision is to bring all the stakeholders in one place. In a way, I want to start a new incubator wherein the incubators of all the world shall be networked at one place, so that the facilities, the stakeholders, and the people who are needing facilities should be available at one place. When I say stakeholders, there are many stakeholders for incubators. Like the state governments are there, national governments are there, NGOs are there, and then many international bodies are there. Then I would say institutions are there, and then the manager of incubators are there. And every incubator has his or her own, has its own policies, and which are according to the policies of the government or the state. So it is going to be a tough task for bringing all the stakeholders in one place, because there are other stakeholders like the people who would buy equity into the companies, and the people who would be mentoring these incubatees. So many things are there. So many, I would say, people are there who would be putting funding into these companies and putting funding into the incubators as well. There are some government organizations like Department of Science and Technology, like BIREC, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. So many stakeholders, private as well as government, are there who are willing to mentor these, who are willing to put funding into it, who are giving to give the facilities. So bringing all those stakeholders at one place and asking them to share their policies, their information about incubators, and the ideas on which they are working, and at which stage they are in, and how much funding they would be required. It is going to be a tough task, I know, but my vision is to bring all those stakeholders in one place, having all the information at one place, so that in case there is any person or a company or a government who are looking for some particular innovation, or who are waiting for some product to come into the market, they should be able to have it. Now, there are many risks into it, because why would government, or why would some incubators who are working in this idea, and which will come into the market at a later stage, why would they disclose their information? It is a confidential information. So I know the risk, I know the difficulties which the people will be facing, but at the same time, my vision is to bring all all those together at one place, so that they are able to have the benefit of it. And I think I have put a time frame of around 10 years, because I also know that there are institutions wherein incubators are started, but they over a period of time do not run successfully. And but my vision is there. I would be working on it. Thank you very much. I'm hopeful that I would be succeed in it once. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful, informative speech, Mr. Raj Mehta. And now about the limericks contest. I call for nominations. Who is going to give it a try? Okay, our previous speaker, Raj Mehta, had already shared one limerick. So I'm going to ask him to warm up, and then we are going to go to Mr. Saurendra Bhaumik. So Mr. Raj Mehta, please share a limerick.
Is there some rule? Since I was not there, I know what is a limerick is. So is there any other rule? Am I supposed to?
Just that. You had shared one limerick in the chat as well, so it was well within the rules.
There was a new year where we were clear that one day we shall fly. Not only me, but not only low, but very high, such that we can hear.
Wonderful. Round of applause for Mr. Raj Mehta. It was amazing. And now I would like to call on stage our second contestant, Mr. Saurendra Bhaumik. Yes, this is a limericks contest, offline limericks contest. Mr. Saurendra Bhaumik. You're on mute. Saurendra, you're on mute.
I must give you a background. I'm outside Delhi, outside Gurgaon, on a hill station. And while Gayatri was telling me to prepare a limerick, something just came to my mind. So I could say this, that here is an good old Bill walking up the hill. The rain is pelting down, and Bill has a wet crown. Now we have a wet old Bill.
Wonderful.
That's how I thought.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm so glad that there are a lot of nominations coming up. And now we would like to go to our third nomination, Haritika Ahuja.
Hi.
Okay, so Haritika, before you start, I would like to say something about you first. I would like to introduce you. There is a young, talented girl from Bhiwani. Her name is Haritika and she is very dreamy. Her smile is infectious. Her nature, rebellious. If you need a role player, she is your genie. Over to you, Haritika.
Thank you, Gayatri. I didn't know how to write it, but since you told me in the start of the meeting that I have to share a limerick and I can't deny you. So I wrote it with the help of Google. There was a girl with a smile, so broad you could see it a mile. She said to her friends as she sew up the ends, it was really too wide for the style. Over to you.
Okay. Let us take this session. Who is the winner? Come on, everybody, tell us. We can't have the polls, but we would love to have a winner. Who will be the judge for these three limericks? Okay, Rupinder, you are nominating or you are the judge?
I'm the judge, jury, executioner.
Okay.
And I execute Haritika. I mean, I formally declare her as the winner.
Congratulations, Haritika. You are the winner. And on that note, my dear members, there, there is a Roli Sinha who is grammarian for the day. She keeps the mood happy and joyful and gay. With all the wisdom and prudence, she gave word of the day cadence. To use the word, let us all enter the foray. And on that note, I would like to call upon the evaluator for our speaker number 3. And our evaluator for the third speaker is Avjinder Singh. Avjinder?
Elisa. Elisa is the evaluator.
Okay, Elisa is the evaluator. I'm so sorry. Elisa, would you please come up on stage and evaluate our very dear speaker, Rupinder Singh?
Yes, thank you so much, Gayatri. My evaluation for tonight of Rupinder Singh will be presenting from his level Effective Coaching. The speech title is Pet Peeves with Toastmasters. And the purpose of this speech is to, for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and then apply that feedback to a second speech. So with that, I leave you with Rupinder Singh, Pet Peeves with Toastmasters. Thank you, Toastmaster Gayatri.
Thank you so much, Elisa. And now I would like to call upon our next speaker. There is a Rupinder Singh with a beard. Late, lazy or leery, at Toastmasters he is revered. His impeccable style makes everyone smile. He is a dedicated mentor who is also feared. Pet peeves with Toastmasters, Rupinder Singh. Rupinder Singh, pet peeves with Toastmasters. Over to you, Rupinder.
To err is human. And depending on the kind of luck you have, to forgive may or may not be the policy. I've been in Toastmasters for more than 5 years. And I have seen people make mistakes, which is fine. Toastmasters is the place where you make mistakes so that you don't make them again. The thing is that you make mistakes so that you don't make them again. The key phrase here is that you don't make them again. Because a mistake, once repeated, is no longer a mistake. It becomes a habit. And there are some habits in Toastmasters that I have seen that I have a pet peeve with. Please join me with all your cadence as I introduce you to my pet peeves with Toastmasters. Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, could be, would be, should be Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. At the top of my list is this confusion whether I am Toastmaster Rupinder Singh or whether I am Toastmasters Rupinder Singh. Whether you are a member of Toastmasters or whether you are a member of Toastmasters. Whether you have a Toastmasters club or whether you have a Toastmaster club. Let me clarify that doubt for you once and for all. Toastmasters International is the organization. A group of club members can be referred to as Toastmasters. A single Toastmaster is, of course, Toastmaster. So, of course, it is Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, not Toastmasters Rupinder Singh. Rupinder Singh belongs to a Toastmasters club called Blue Quest. He does not belong to a Toastmaster club called Blue Quest. Second pet peeve, and all the distinguished Toastmasters in the room will identify with this. There is no such thing as DTM Shaurendra Bhaumik or DTM Raj Mehta. It is Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta or Distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik. It is not DTM. And when you are addressing, let's say, somebody like our timer Haritika, she is Toastmaster Haritika. She is not TM Haritika. In fact, TM is not a recognized symbol in the Toastmasters community. However, coming back to the DTMs, if you were writing their names, if you were writing Raj Mehta, if you are addressing Raj Mehta while writing, you would write Raj Mehta, comma, space, DTM. But you would never say Raj Mehta DTM. Or, as some people colloquially like to say, you would Raj Mehta, comma, space, DTM. Once again, it is Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. It is not DTM Raj Mehta. And it is definitely not Raj Mehta DTM when you are saying out his name. Although you can also refer to him as Toastmaster Raj Mehta or Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik. Knowing them, I'm pretty sure they will not mind that you did not add the distinguished word prior to their names. Now, we are all following an educational program called Pathways. We are following a path in Pathways. We are not following a pathway in Pathways. So dynamic leadership is a path. It is not a pathway. I see many people refer to it as a pathway. Rupinder is giving a speech from the engaging humor pathway. It is wrong on two counts. Number one, it is a path, not a pathway. Number two, I finished engaging humor a long time back. Last, but the peeve that causes the most amount of disappointment in me. There is a skill. It's called reading. Now, if you are saying that you are not capable of reading, I will totally understand that. But if you are capable of reading, and if you are not reading, then you are no better than an illiterate person. Many of the projects that I have seen in Toastmasters, in Pathways, they require you to read content. Instead, many times I see people attempting their projects without even bothering to read what was there in the project. I once had an experience with a Toastmaster who was going to give their know your communication style, and they had not taken the assessment. And I asked them, how is it that you are going to talk about communication styles? And they gave me a list of 15 different communication styles. Guess what? Know your communication style advocates only 4 different communication styles. So please stop guessing. Stop winging it. Start reading. Those were my pet peeves with Toastmasters, not Toastmaster. It is Distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh asking you to please start reading, because a mistake, once repeated, becomes a habit, and habits are difficult to break. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Rupinder. Having made that mistake once, I definitely know where you are coming from, because reading and taking those assessments have helped me a lot. And on that note, now we are coming up with Limericks Season 2. And in our Season 2, the contestants are all geared up. I would like to first call upon stage Mr. Jim Vaughan to share the limerick. And before that, we would first vote for the best speaker. Once we are done with the voting for the best speaker, I would like Mr. Jim to share the limerick he has composed for us. Over to you, Jim.
Oh, greetings from Australia, first of all. Glad to be here. I met Rupinder about 2 years ago. I didn't know I had to compose it. I haven't composed anything, so I better skip this one. Yeah.
No, you can share whichever you have. You don't
Okay.
have to compose it. If you know some limerick, you can share that with us.
Okay, thanks. So I like oysters. In Australia, we have lots of oysters. So an oyster from Kalamazoo confessed he was feeling quite blue, for he said, as a rule, when the weather turns cool, I invariably get in a stew. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Wonderful. We got to know something more about Australia. So next time we go there, we definitely need to try oysters. And on that note, I would like to call upon the next contestant, Mr. Naveen Parwal. Mr. Naveen.
All right. Okay, so I just joined in and I just came to know that there's a limerick contest going on here. So
yes.
Limerick, I just managed to write in the past 5 minutes. I'll just say it out. I don't know how effective it will be. Okay, a Toastmaster, they say, wears many hats. It can drive to shame any enthusiasts. We can do any impromptu table topics from anyone's biopics, and the audience just guessed at the skill sets. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naveen. And our last contestant for this season 2, Mr. Arvind Nair. Arvind? Yes. Over to you, Arvind.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I wouldn't know how this would go, but I do hope it's in the context of Toastmasters that I'm going to speak something. This is something that when we were young, we would always make fun and try to say these couple of lines. And I hope if there's somebody who doesn't like it, excuse me, but I'd like to say it. There was a man from Ceylon who wished he'd never been born. He wouldn't have been if his father had seen that the tip of had torn.
Wonderful, Arvind. That was a wonderful attempt. And I would like Mr. Kapil Kakkar to judge who is the best limerick, which was the best limericks of this season.
Okay. Actually, I liked Arvind's limerick. That's, yeah.
So. Okay, so winner is Mr. Arvind Nair. A big round of applause.
Thank you.
And now moving on to the next session, which will be our table topics session. And for our table topics session, we have someone interesting. There is a young man, Surendra Bhaumik. In adversities and troubles, he is never meek. He has a powerful personality. He displays versatility. We hope he is blessed with a winning streak. Over to the table topics master of the day, Mr. Surendra Bhaumik.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gayatri. I guess all of you know what table topics is because all of us are seasoned Toastmasters here. The only thing that I would like to say is that you should know that the timing is for 1 to 2 minutes, and on the higher side, that is beyond 2 minutes, you have 30 seconds as grace. And therefore, you will have to keep your speeches on the extempo speeches are the topics that I will share with you. And I will therefore request someone to, whoever is interested can just put up their hands and I will shoot out a topic for you.
Shaurendra, we have a lot of people who don't have roles. Let's start with them. We have Arvind, we have Jim.
Okay. So can I start with Jim? Are you clear? Can I give you a topic? You're mute, Jim.
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much. So here comes your topic. What, and this is with respect to the pandemic, which is on for the last 1 year. Your topic is, what is the biggest change you have made in your life in the last year? I repeat, what is the biggest change you have made in your life in the last year? Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you enjoy your time at the beach, enjoying the sunshine? Can you imagine being in Australia with hundreds of kilometers of beaches and sunshine and the coconut drinks that you can get there and the barbecue, the smell of the barbecue? Well, now picture this. You travel to Australia, the pandemic happens, all flights are canceled, and you are stuck there. So instead of enjoying a holiday, which I did for about 1 day, I'm stuck. Can you imagine having too much sunshine, too much of the beach, because there's nothing else to do or to go to? So the way the pandemic has treated me is, you know, we all like to go out. We enjoy going out for dinner with friends. And then when you're out, what do? You're looking at your watch. Oh, it's time to get back. I have to get back home. People will be wondering where I am. So if you're at home, you want to be out. If you're out, you want to be home. And it's the same here. You want to be in Australia on the beaches, and now I want to get home. I have been stuck here since February. And but luckily for me, I was hit by a car, broke my leg. So I was stuck at home anyway. And I didn't actually notice anything about the pandemic because I couldn't walk anyway. So things come around and it's all, you know, my head is still spinning. I still haven't got a grasp of this, but I'm sure there are a couple of speeches that I can do from this experience. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Jim. That was wonderful. A beautiful perspective of how things were in COVID pandemic. May I now call on Naveen? Naveen, can I give you a topic?
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Naveen, here it rolls out for you. If we learn from our mistakes, why are we always so afraid to make a mistake? I repeat, if we learn from our mistakes, why are we always so afraid to make mistakes? Over to you, Naveen.
Yep. Fellow Toastmasters, it's a wonderful topic which has been given to us, that when we learn from our mistakes, then why are we so scared for making mistakes? Of course, to err is human, but to forgive divine. Well, don't we all make mistakes every day? We do. And if we do not make the mistakes, how do we expect to learn forward? But however, let me give you an example. About 2 years ago, although I traveled to so many places, but in my home and at my own residence, I broke my ankle bone. And and I was bedridden for almost about 1 month. I had to go I had to take a surgery, and then after the surgery, it took me almost 2 months for me to recover back and to get back to normalcy, almost normalcy. Now the thing is, at the same place where I had injured myself in my residence over here, I'm still scared to walk around the same area, although it's all a mental block which I have. But the thing is that we humans are designed in such a manner that is, once we do an error, we do not want to repeat the same thing over and over again. Now, it can be for any injury, or it can be for any instance in our life. Once bitten, twice shy, and a human being is always going to be careful, because that thing always remains within us. Now, let me tell you certain other things as well. For example, a pandemic has occurred in the past few years, and after the pandemic has taken place, for those who have been infected, they might be having the antibodies within themselves to prevent themselves. But don't we still wear masks? Of course, we do wear masks, because no matter how much antibodies we have, no matter how much we are vaccinated, we will still take all the preventive measures required. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Raveen. That was wonderful. May I now call on distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair. And Arvind, would you be able to take on a table topic?
Yeah, sure.
Yes?
Sure, table topic master.
Thank you so much, sir. For you, Arvind, it is the best way to combat climate changes is for individuals to reduce their carbon footprints. Or once again, the best way to combat health changes is for individuals to reduce their carbon footprints. Over to you, Arvind.
Thank you, table topic master. Let me at the outset mention that I love the cadence of this meeting. And to answer your question, how do I reduce the footprints as far as health is concerned? Nature has given us a lot of bounty here, and it's up to us to ensure that we take the full benefit of it. At the same time, remember, we are only preservers for the generations that come. So we have to use it wisely. For example, if we have to go out on a morning walk, go by all means. Ensure that you are well suited, booted, and depending on the place you are going for a walk, you ensure that you only tread the path that has been specifically kept for it. Do not walk on the grass. I do recall when we were at one of the outings that we had, they were very specific. It was an environmental outing. And we had gone to a place called Kars, which is known, which has been preserved. And during the monsoon, the organizers told us that we are not supposed to pick even a flower, or we are only supposed to put our foot on his footprint so that we do not damage the plants that are there. So I feel that this is one great way of doing and preserving for the generations to come. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Arvind. That was very nice. Now, let me check back with the TMOD of the day. Madam TMOD, do we have time to have a couple of more of these?
We can do at most one more, your choice.
One more?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we can accommodate
anyone
one more.
amongst us? Sorry? Sorry, Gayatri, I didn't hear you. Okay.
We can accommodate one more.
Okay. Who will take on the next one? Anyone nominating themselves? Yes, Raj, sir. Raj, great one. So, Distinguished Toastmasters, Raj Mehta, this is one for you. The nuclear energy is the solution to the overconsumption of fossil fuels. I repeat, nuclear energy is the solution to the overconsumption of fossil fuels. Your views. Over to you, Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Surendra Bhaumik. We have been consuming fossil fuel since ages. There were times when we used to burn cow's dung by forming uplas and using it in our earthen stoves. And we have moved from there to burning LPG, liquid petroleum gas at our homes. But how are we going to combat with the increasing demand of energy? There are some ways of talking about non-conventional energy resources like solar energy, like energy from water or wind. But there is another source of energy called nuclear energy. How safe it is, that comes a question, because while we are producing nuclear energy, we have to take care of the process which it takes, we have to take care of the inputs which it takes, and we have to also take care of the outcome which it is going to give it to us. Nuclear energy is there, it is, we are able to make it, but we have to take the risks which are involved in producing the nuclear energy. We have seen in our past that by using nuclear energy, we have done many blasts. Albert Noble had never thought that the dynamite which he had invented would be used for the demolition of human being, and not for just demolition of the mountains for which it was produced. So fossil fuels are there, they are going to be consumed up very soon, and we have to take care of the energy demand of our future. And nuclear energy is there, but at the same time, we have to see that it is not going to impact the environment in which we are living, because ultimately we have to show that the generation which are going to come should survive healthy. Thank you.
You're on mute, Surendra.
Thank you so much, Raj. And with that, I thank all the speakers who participated, which is Jim, Naveen, Arvind, and Raj. And now I request the members to kindly vote for the best table topic speaker on the polls which are up now. I hope everyone has submitted their polls. And with that, thank you very much once again, and over to you to the table, to the Toastmaster of the Day, Madam Gayatri.
Thank you so much, Surendra, for that wonderful table topics session. And now we will move on to the general evaluation session. Just before the general evaluation session, I would like to apprise you a little trivia about limericks. So there is no particular rule per se apart from the rhyming scheme for all the 5 lines. The only rule is that each line is expected to be from 5 to 7 syllables. However, if you are giving it a shot for the first time, don't worry about the syllables. Just focus on the words, because limericks is a very good exercise if you want to build your vocabulary, because it helps you selecting the words, helps you go through a lot of words, and it's a wonderful vocabulary building vocabulary exercise. And on that note, over to our general evaluator for the day, Mr. Kapil Kakkar. Kapil, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Now we are in the third section of our meeting, which is the evaluation section. And now it's time to evaluate our speeches. So let me invite our first evaluator, who is Payal. Payal, could you please come on this virtual stage and evaluate Sumit's speech?
Thank you, General Evaluator Kapil. So I'm here to evaluate Sumit on his speech, meditation and its side effects. First and foremost, Sumit, I really liked the choice of the title, that was meditation and its side effects, which this is one topic which I am personally interested in. And as an audience, I feel we all are concerned about it, and since it relates to all of us. Secondly, I feel, Sumit, you very well met the objective of the speech, which was research and presentation, because your speech had the statistics as well as you gave a live example about Rahul Kanodia, who had conducted a research. So it very well met the objective of the speech. So I feel it took your speech, it adhered to the objective. Thirdly, I like the way you delivered your speech, which I felt was very natural. And as an audience, I really like to listen to speeches which come very naturally. And our eye contact wasn't missing at any time. You looked straight into the camera throughout your speech. Since all speeches have room for improvement, I would just like to point out some areas where you can improve upon. Number one, I guess, Sumit, I found that voice modulation was missing, which I feel is a requisite for any good speech. And secondly, and it would be great if you could have spoken more about the side effects of meditation, as the title of the speech suggested. And as an audience, I wanted to hear more about it. And then since I understand it was a research and presentation speech, so you had more to speak about the theoretical part of it. But if you could still add some story about how meditation has affected in your life, it could have even made your speech great to listen. On and on, it was a wonderful speech, and I wish you luck and look forward to listen more of your speeches. Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Over to you.
Thank you, Payal. And now could I invite our second evaluator, who is Joyita, to evaluate Raj's speech?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kapil. Before I start, I would request the host to bring the spotlight on Raj Mehta and the timer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rupinder. When we first heard the word incubator, it's related to nurture a premature baby to give a life. So when we are relating this word with our idea, when it is at the phase of idea, when it is in our mind, it's required some nurture. And for that, we need to do some R&D. We need to think on the potential solution. And all of this thing I found in your speech when you first stated the vision. With your positive thought process, you stated a vision that is coming from your heart. After that, you have connected with the audience with asking the question, what is your thought about the incubator? What you really understood about the incubator? This is the very natural way to connect the audience with your speech. Then your speech also had the research work that you have done, that how the incubator, this can be applied in the technical field. And you have taken the example of IIT Delhi, and you have mentioned all those points very nicely so that we can we should understand that how this word is related to your speech and also your thought process. My only one concern was here that when you are saying this vision and giving the examples and your research work, then when you came back to about your vision, that moment I found that you are little bit of confusion. You were thinking that what other people were thinking after listening to my vision. That's why many times you mentioned that I know it is difficult to implement. So how we can avoid this? We can avoid this to giving some potential solution to help your vision. So if you can give that these are the solution could help to make this vision realistic, then you need not to say, I know it is difficult. Then I'm very impressed with your voice modulation, the confidence in your voice, the people like you, the positive thinker like you can say this type of vision. And I really like this should be implemented in the real world as well, where might be this incubator can help others to solve their problem. Thank you, Raj. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joyita. And now could I invite our third evaluator, Elisa? Elisa, could you please come forward?
Yes, thank you, Kapil. They say it takes 3 weeks to form a habit. And thank you to our speaker for tonight, Rupinder. It sounds like we have bad habits to break and a lot of good habits to form. Rupinder, in your speech today, you presented us with 3 common errors, which you called your pet peeves with Toastmasters. And you took us through this gradual transformation where you pointed out each of these errors and then how to fix and how to change them and why they're a problem and why we should not be doing these things. You talked about grammar, whether it's Toastmaster or Toastmasters. You talked about not using abbreviations when speaking titles. That was number 2. And number 3, reading more of the projects. Now, what I really appreciate about your presentation is that you were like our teacher. And I felt kind of like I was back in school and had you, and in the case of a teacher, a very good one, because you had a lot of repetition. Your pace was just right. It was easy to follow along. I can often get lost in speeches, but I did not get lost in yours. Again, you had simple organization, 3 points, and an excellent introduction and conclusion that tied it all together, where you talked about how it's easy to make mistakes, but if we allow those mistakes to continue to become habits. So you mentioned this at the beginning and at the end. I loved your cadence. It was fantastic. Now, as for some of the challenges, I have had the distinguished pleasure of watching your international speech. And one thing that I noticed between that speech and this one is just your level of energy. Now, here's the thing. As a teacher, I think that we transmit what we want the audience to feel. And everything about your speech was so fantastic, but I would have liked to see a little bit more energy. I would love to see you standing up, because sometimes your hand gestures were lost. And sometimes they would come up on screen, but other times they were down here. So all we could see was your face. So that was one thing that would have really helped me, if I could have just seen a little bit more maybe enthusiasm and what you were presenting, because again, what you feel, we will feel with you. I also felt like perhaps the eye contact, I felt like it's easy to look more at people on the screen as opposed to looking directly into the camera. So perhaps that would be something that would help me. And one other thing might be if you had some kind of prop or some kind of background to cause us to help us to follow along a little bit more, and that way focus on each of those points. Again, it was very easy to follow along, just little things that can add another level of interest to this words that you're saying. Having said all that, I thought it was absolutely outstanding. And I can tell you that I will certainly be working on those 3 mistakes. And I think we all will. In fact, you've given us a test to take home, so we've got no excuse. We must learn these 3 issues. After all, we don't want to make a mistake because mistakes become habit. And if we're going to make habits, we want to make good ones. Thank you so much. Back to you, Kapil.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you. And I'm sure that all the speakers will find these suggestions very useful. Okay, now it's time to present our supplementary role players report. Okay, so first, let's give 30 seconds to poll.
Kapil, you can continue. They can keep on voting.
Okay, I got distracted. Sure. So could I invite Haritika to present her timers report first?
Yes. So as a timer, I noted the time used. Sergeant-at-Arms Ruchika Malik took 2 minutes 40 seconds. Presiding Officer Kapil Kakkar took 3 minutes 45 seconds. Toastmaster of the day Gayatri Deshmukh took 17 minutes 49 seconds, in which she managed to take up limerick contest twice. General Evaluator Kapil Kakkar took 6 minutes. Table Topic Master took 14 minutes. Now coming to the table topics, Jim Vaughn took 1 minute 55 seconds. Naveen took 1 minute 50 seconds. Arvind Nair took 1 minute 50 seconds. Raj Mehta took 2 minutes 40 seconds. So we have 1 disqualification here. Coming to the prepared speech section, Sumit Juneja took 5 minutes 50 seconds. Raj Mehta took 9 minutes 15 seconds. Rupinder Singh took 7 minutes 26 seconds. So we have 1 more disqualification here. Coming to the evaluation section, evaluators, Payal took 1 minute 9 seconds to explain the speech purpose and 1 minute 59 seconds to evaluate. Joyita took 37 seconds to explain the speech purpose and 3 minutes 10 seconds to evaluate. And Elisa took 30 seconds to elaborate the speech purpose and 3 minutes 23 seconds to evaluate. That's all from my side, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Ritika. That was very quick. Okay, could I invite Sheila to present her counter report?
Thank you, General Evaluator and fellow Toastmasters. So tonight, as we went through the report, I have a table for you, which I will share. Can everyone see my screen?
Not yet. It is not yet visible, but it has started.
Is anyone able to see it?
Yes, yes. Now it is visible.
Okay. With tonight's speeches, we have different categories: prepared speeches, Sumit and Raj and Rupinder. Sumit had 1 or We had 1 and or so, and 2 were used as a double crutch. Raj, I would suggest working on the Oz, but I also know it's very difficult when you have a different language. My dad speaking a second language with English, I know it can be very difficult. We even have a hard time with it. I do it a lot when I teach. That being said, there were 26, 4 for and so, and 1 for a double crutch. Rupinder had 1. Table topics, we had Jim and Naveen, Irvin, and Raj. You can see Jim had 1 listed under the column, 5 and or so's, 1 like or you know. Naveen had 1 in the column and 2 were a double crutch. Irvin had 1 and 1 under those columns that you see there. And Raj had 5 in the column and 1 is a double crutch. Payal had 5 or ums. And for the and so column, she had 1. Joyetta had 2 in the column, and Elisa had 6 in the column, 4 in the and or so column, and 2 for a double crutch. Rounding out our list of officers, we had Ruchita with 2 or combination. 1 is a double crutch, 2 for Kapil. Gayatri and Surinder and Hritika, I'm going to say it wrong, I apologize. Hritika had perfect scores tonight, so congratulations. Woohoo! That is quite the accomplishment. Good job. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Sheila. Rolly, could you please present your grammarian report?
Yes, Mr. General Evaluator, I'll just be sharing my screen in just a moment. I apologize to the timer. Right, so we had some very good usages of the language today. Toastmaster Gayatri was leading us by having wonderful limericks and wonderful words used in those limericks. I tried to note a few down and then my fingers just gave up. Sumit had nice phrases like fear or flight mode. I like the word parasympathetic and meditative. Gayatri had numerous, some of these are here visible on your screen. I hope you can see those. Raj Mehta had incubation, pertinent, conceptualized stakeholders among the many that he had in his speech. Surinder sir had crown, perspective, combat. Rupinder had judge, jury, executioner, one of my pet phrases, and then he had another one as his speech title. To err is human, he used it for the first time. Another Toastmaster used it later. Top of my list, colloquially and stop thinking it were very nice phrases. Naveen had to forgive, to err is human and to forgive is divine. So that was very nice. Arvind had bounty and preservers for the generations to come. I really like that. But I'll use the word adhered, which was very nice. The word of the day was used 3 times by Gayatri, Arvind, and Elisa. And I want to compliment Jimvan, Arvind, and Elisa for having absolutely no grammatical issues. Moving on to the awkward usages. There are a few where we can make improvements. First of all, the prepositions. Instead of saying at one place, in that particular context, it should have been in one place. Caused disappointment to me, it's caused disappointment in me. Consumed up was not correct. We could just say consumed. The article usage, outcome should be an outcome, a incubator, an incubator, and limerick, a limerick. So maybe we can just be a little more cautious about our articles and remember which ones go with the consonants and which ones go with the vowels. The pronunciation of broad, in my opinion, is with a loud O sound, not O sound. And appropriate phrasing, I felt that instead of saying putting funding, we could simply say funding, and we could simply say require nurturing instead of require some nurture. And I compliment all of those who used the word of the day and had wonderful limericks. I apologize, I couldn't note all of those. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, and back to you.
Thank you, Rolly, for your detailed report. Now it's time for me to present my report. So we were a bit late in starting our meeting. We started a bit late because some of the role players were not available. So I request all the role players to be on time next time. Regarding the evaluation or regarding the evaluators, I think everybody did good job. They gave good, followed the CRC approach and followed some practical suggestions which are easy to adopt for the speakers. Regarding the table topics, I actually liked the table topics given by Surinder. They were not too difficult. At times we get very difficult topics, and at the same time each speaker was able to share his personal experience as well. So they correlated it with their personal experience. So that was a job well done. Regarding our tag team, so Haritika, you were speaking very fast, so it was at times it was very hard to follow you. So probably you can, lower down your pace, so it would be easy to comprehend. Sheila, I think you were sharing your screen, and I feel that when you are sharing your screen, you do not need to read out each and every column, because everybody can see that. Probably you may want to highlight something. You feel that why someone spoke more hours, why he was not able to deliver his message correctly. So you can give that observation. Regarding Roli, I actually liked the grammarian report. She was sharing her screen. I think next time I'm going to adopt this practice whenever I play this role. And overall, I think we had a good meeting. It was a good fun. Everybody learned something new today. So with that, I would like to hand over the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day, Gayatri. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Kapil. And it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful session. We have a little time on our hands, and that is why we are going to come up on a very, very, very popular demand, Limericks Contest Season 3. And our first contestant is Elisa Schneider. Elisa Schneider. But before you take up your limerick, I have composed something for you. There is a girl who grew up in Spain. Her style and speeches entertain. Soon she will become a member of Blue Quest. Like Sheila, she will also strive for the best. In time of necessity, she will never refrain. Elisa Schneider.
Toastmaster Gayatri, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. So I came up with a limerick. Let's see how it goes. A terrible virus covered the world. Everyone hid away in their home. But Toastmasters could not travel, though Toastmasters could not travel by car, they defied the virus and came from afar and made friends all over the globe. Thank you.
That was nicely done. And we have another contestant, Roli Sinha. She has actually written a very, very, very nice limerick. Roli, over to you.
I thought we agreed, Gayatri.
Roli, please, it was a very nice limerick.
Okay. I hope you can hear me. I stepped out and I can't really go back in right now. So.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
There is a wise young woman called Gayatri. With delight, she invited you, him, her, and me. With her beaming smile, the lilt of her mellifluous voice, the cadence of her sweet words, a new life into this meeting she did breathe. Thank you.
Now you know why I really wanted her to share her limerick.
Right.
And now I want the third contestant. Any nominations? Joyita, Payal. Payal, you want to go?
I just wrote it down now.
Yes.
Toastmaster gives me food for thought. I like it when I'm not set. It helps me come out with my best. Yeah, that's all. I was writing since you asked to volunteer, so I stopped.
No problem. It was a very good attempt. Sumit, you have a pencil in your hand. Do you have a limerick ready?
I'll try. It's on the speech.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot. We have time on our hand. Let's utilize it for our vocab building. I know, just one, Rupinder, just one. After Sumit, I'll just give it.
When heart is at peace, our mind is at ease. When we introspect, we find some prospects. When our soul gets pleased.
Wonderful. And now, Joyita, I would like you to judge the best limerick of this session. Joyita, you're on mute.
Yeah, shall I ping it here?
No, no, you can just tell. You can just verbally tell who, according to you, was the best limerick in this session.
Yeah, it is Rolly.
It was Rolly. Yes. Thank you so much. And on before handing over to our presiding officer for today, I would just like to give a last limerick for the Blue Quest members. Today, Joyita and Payal were evaluators. Together, they act like curators. They are both endearing and charming. Their presence is very pleasing. To Blue Quest Club, they add flavors. On that note, over to you, Mr. Kapil Kakkar.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you so much. I think it was one of its kind experience, limericks. Okay. Now it's time to take a quick feedback from our guests. But before that, Rupinder, do you want to announce results or should I go ahead?
Have polls for the best role player, and then you can continue with your president duties while I generate the certificates.
All right. Okay. Okay, we have few new guests today. Jim, just wanted to have a quick introduction from your end and how you felt about today's meeting.
Today's meeting was very creative. I really like the idea of limericks, and Gayatri obviously has spent a lot of time researching and planning even the introductions to guests like Alicia. Very, very clever, and a lot of dedication to pull that off, I think. And she did it with such grace as well. And overall, that energy carried through the whole meeting. So everything was bang, 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 you know, no dead air. Everything was really good and lively. So I'm happy to be here. I met Rupinder about 2 years ago. And so I saw your ad in the Facebook. So I logged in this morning. Back to you.
Thank you, Jim. Hope to see you in our next meeting as well. Naveen, could we get a quick feedback from your end as well? Naveen, can you hear us? No, I guess.
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Naveen, you're muted.
I think he is not available.
No, he's
Arvind sir?
muted.
Arvind sir, could we have a quick feedback from your side?
Thank you. It was wonderful attending a meeting once again here. We've got some international Toastmasters as well attending this meeting. Most of the things were done in accordance with the Toastmasters program. Lovely, great. Gayatri, I think everybody is going to speak about you, me including. It was great listening to you, your diction, your pronunciation, the way you actually conducted the whole thing. That was awesome, I should say. The role players did a good job. May I suggest something to the club, if it's okay? There were two things that I would like to suggest. One is probably the grammarian missed a very small thing to say. There was somebody who used the word, he was talking and then said key. Now that's an Indianism. We need to avoid that when we were talking in the Queen's English or when we're in a Toastmasters meeting. We should try to avoid the Indianisms coming in. That's why I said we have an international audience here. So if you use the word key instead of that, it becomes a little difficult to understand for these people. The second thing is, well, the timer did give the report at the end, but I would have loved if the timer came in at every section to say that we are beyond or we are ahead of time so that the next person taking up the section would know that they have to either reduce or can have more time for their session. Because ultimately this is a project, and in project we have time management, and Toastmasters lays a great emphasis on time management. So we as team players need to sacrifice some of our scripts to ensure that the project finishes on time. So these are a few things that I happen to see. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and over to you.
Thank you, Arvind. I mean, these are valuable suggestions. We will try to implement that, Naveen. Thank you. Naveen, could you hear us now? Could we get a quick feedback
Yeah,
on your end?
yes, I can. Yeah, sorry, I was away for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. Well, it was a wonderful meeting, and I really enjoyed it today. And yep, and especially it's been a long time since I met Toastmaster Arvind Nair. We've got old memories together, lasting up maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was a surprise seeing him, a pleasant surprise meeting him out here. And it's always a pleasure to meet distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh and all my old friends. Thanks for inviting me. Yep, that's it.
Thank you, Naveen. Rolly, could we have a feedback from your end?
I don't have feedback. I just have an apology. I was under too many painkillers to remember that I was the grammarian. I apologize for that. But I'm so glad that I did get to attend this meeting because of the theme and the way it was executed by Gayatri. I really liked the preparation of all the role players and their commitment. And I'm hopeful that I will be joining this meeting again. Thank you.
Thank you, Rolly. Should we ask feedback from our old guests, Haritika?
Haritika, Raj, everyone.
Okay. Haritika, over to you.
It's always a pleasure to join Blue Quest on Wednesday morning. So that's all from my side. I had a wonderful experience with Toastmaster of the Day, Gayatri. Thank you.
Yeah, Raj.
Yeah, it's always been a pleasure to attend Blue Quest Toastmaster meeting. Somehow I felt today that giving a speech while attending office is a tough thing, and I should have avoided it. Next time, if I plan to give a speech in Blue Quest, I will first give the speech and then I start from my home to my office. And but it was a good experience giving a speech in office. But I'm thinking that I will use this opportunity of using my office for my contests, because on Sunday my contest will be on Sunday, and on that day there won't be anybody around. Thank you.
Thank you. Gayatri?
I had a lot of fun today because all the members were so actively participating, and I'm really glad that everybody took efforts to actually compose a limerick, because it is a really very good exercise to improve language, and I really hope it helps everyone a lot. I was a little scared about this theme, but I'm just glad everyone liked it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gayatri. It was a pleasure having you as our team mode, actually. You actually stole the whole show. Rupi, are you ready with your results?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay, sharing the right screen and going to share screen. All right, so we have this automatic certificate generator, and I think, Jim, this is where we met each other for the first time, because probably you wanted this. You were among the first people to sign up for this certificate generator, and now you get to see it in action, starting with the best table topic speaker number 2. So today we had 4 speakers. I decided to limit it to the top 2 because limiting it to the top 3 would kind of give it away. So the best table topic speaker at the second place today was Naveen Parab. Congratulations. Thank you for attending today, Naveen. Wonderful topic. And the best table topic speaker number 1 is stranded in Australia. And let me tell you, Jim, that there are many people who would love to trade places with you. So thank you very much and many congratulations once again. Now, the results were already announced, but I think we should recognize the best limerick. So this certificate goes to Haritika Ahuja for being the best limerick poet in group 1. In group 2, the honor went to Arvind Nair. Many congratulations to you, Arvind. And for group 3, it went to Roli Sinha. For the best speech evaluator, I am very happy to say that she came all the way from Puerto Rico and did something that most people would not. Every time I ask somebody to evaluate me, they tend to run away. Thank you for not running away, Elisa Schneider. I don't know why they run away, because I'm going to give a boring speech, or whether I'm going to give too good of a speech. I'll just go with I'm going to give too good of a speech. I'm a narcissist that way. Then let's look at the best auxiliary role player. I told you in the last meeting, and I'm saying it again, she is the best grammarian in District 41. Many congratulations, Roli Sinha. That grammarian report was something worth waking up for at 8 o'clock. And I'm pretty sure Elisa and Sheila will agree that it was worth waking up late for as well. The best role player, I should not be doing this, but let me tell you, 2 of the other role players got 0 votes. And the person who won it actually went overtime. Thank God we don't follow timing limits for the Toastmaster of the day. Now, you will have, you know that the Toastmasters' first value is integrity. So we have integrity, respect, service, and excellence. So you will have to trust my integrity when I tell you that the best speaker is. Thank you very much. Before I close, I want to share with you the results of the quiz. There is still somebody, one person who believes that this is Toastmasters Rupinder. There's one person who believes that you have a Toastmaster club. I think they're doing it on purpose. There's one person who again insists on referring to me as Toastmaster Rupinder. By the way, both the answers were right here, Distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik and Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik, because before he was a Distinguished Toastmaster, he was and he still is Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik. The correct address, again, somebody tried to, I think that one of you tried to do it on purpose. And dynamic leadership again seems to be a pathway for someone. Thankfully, everyone agrees that the one skill needed to excel in pathways is reading. So I hope you'll get back to reading. Thank you very much. Before I leave, I will click this button and hopefully the certificate should reach you by email. If they don't, then I will manually send them across. Thank you very much. With that, I will stop sharing my screen. I will also stop the recording if it is okay, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yeah.
Thank you.